Hello, Joshua Alger here from cgsidekick.com. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to attach the air model we made to the head that I made with you guys in a previous tutorial. Okay, if you modeled the air in another Blender file, you'll need to go into File in Blender, and go Append, and wherever you have the object on your computer, you'll need to find it. I named mine air low poly.blend, and you would go into Object and then select the object. I made mine out of a plane and never renamed it, so it would be named plane, and then just simply clicked link or append. I already have my air inside this Blender file and scaled to the right size, so I'm just going to delete this one and use this one. If I tab into edit mode on this mesh, you can see that the side I have mirroring is on the right. So this air is facing the direction as to be attached to this side, and I want to attach it to the side that's being mirrored so that it gets mirrored as well. So I need to mirror the air. So I'm going to tab into edit mode on the air and Control M, X, that mirrors the air. Then take your air model. Well, I'm gonna move it in object mode. That way the origin won't get way off. Position it pretty close to the place you need it on your mesh. RR is a really nice way to rotate it to get it positioned well. Okay, so I think that's probably good enough. Oh, maybe not. Just kind of look at it, see if it looks right. There, looks a bit too big. Let's scale it about that size. Alright, that looks maybe a bit better from the front. And I think there should be more about that height. Alright, so I'm now going to join the objects together. So I'm going to select the air and then the head, and I'm going to go in the tool panel and press join. So they're now one mesh. And so the air should now be showing on the other side as well. So if we tab into edit mode, we can go into side view and start attaching the two together. It's actually pretty easy. Just simply select two vertices, press W, merge, and I'm going to press last. Now this air, I believe, has more vertices going around the outside edge than the head, so we will need to make either some cuts or merge some verts together on the outside edge of the air so that we can have the same number of verts to attach them together. To do that, we'll simply select the vertices that will need to interact with the knife tool, and we will hold down K on the keyboard and drag our mouse across the area that we want to cut. Okay, now that we've got a cut, we have more verts along the edge of the opening on the head mesh to hook up to the air. If you're merging verts together on the air, you need to be careful as to where you do it, because it will make little slight creases and indentations in the mesh. Right here, it kind of makes a slight valley, so you might be able to get away with merging some right here, and then turning these into a quad. And as you can see, there's this little like valley, so it doesn't really matter if it's gonna make an indentation here, but since it already does with the mesh, it's probably a good place to do it. And if you're also going to merge something together right up behind the air, right in this little corner. You're probably not gonna see any sort of pinching, so I'm gonna merge these together, center, and then select those triangles in there, turn them into a quad, and then I'm gonna select these up here, merge them together, and now we have less vertices on the air, and it will end up pinching in there, making some sort of odd crease, but because of where it is, it really shouldn't matter at all. Maybe we could do these. After all, airs probably aren't perfectly smooth behind there. So we're going to turn these into a face, and then we need to get rid of these. Well, they already were a face, we turned them into a quad. Now I'm going to merge these, get rid of those triangles, center. So we still have only quads on our mesh. And simply all you have to do is go along, merge the verts together, do different tweaks that may need to be done along the way, make different cuts that may be necessary. Let me see this. Oh, there we go. Now it made a nice cut. First. Sometimes the normals may get messed up on you while you're doing this. Right at the edge, so you may have to recalculate the normals on your vertices, and then because the normal defines the orientation of it, and if they both have some sort of conflicting normal, it will cause a weird seam. So let's recalculate all the normals by selecting them all and clicking recalculate, and ta-da, it fixed the problem. So make sure that you do that so that you're not all frustrated, and should smoothly connect. Nice trick to see how much more one has than the other is if you select the air beforehand with the loop select tool around the outside edge by just option right clicking it. It will tell you how many verts you have selected. It should say vertices 24, and now if I select them on the head, see how many we've got left to merge to on. Well, it's actually selecting some of these as well. But it says we've selected 23 vertices. So before you connect there, you can see the exact number you have if you want. That may help simply by loop selecting the outside edge. Oops, daisies. A lot of the times connecting there can make it a really ugly mess, simply by moving the vertices around to be able to get them well positioned for connecting. So you may need to do quite a lot of tweaking around the air when you're finished connecting it all together, but not that big of a deal, I wouldn't imagine. Gonna start aligning these all so I can see where we need to make more cuts. Get them aligned before I go further with connecting more verts. Whoops. Alrighty, looks like we've got about the right number of verts. I guess I made the right amount of cuts and stuff, so except for we've got one extra vert right here. So what am I going to do? I can remove one line of verts, so let's see. Where would a good place to do that be? Adding a loop cut to the head would also work. So let's see if there's an area on the head where the loops are a little bit further apart. Not really any. Okay, I think we'll make one right here. Control R. And still not that much further away from the others. I'm going to re-even these out, so Control E. Edge slide. Okay, well, it doesn't need to be perfect, but still look pretty even. So if you look for a place on your mesh where there's a little bit wider gap, you can simply add a loop cut. That will also give you another vertex to attach with. So you merge. The only thing left now is to merge the two rows of verts together and tweak them until they look pretty good. Alright, the ear is now attached and finished, and since we had the mesh mirrored while doing it, we now have an ear on both sides of the head. It's not perfect, but simply to keep this tutorial short, I'm not going to tweak it until it looks absolutely perfect. Whoa. Like that looked a little bit too sharply transitioning into the head. And I think that concludes our tutorial. Hope you guys learned something, and thank you for watching.